All right, this is going to be what we're going to do on the day of the STAR test. We're going to fill out the reference material sheet, and then we're going to do our toolbox. So first thing is filling out the reference material sheet. Notice how you have slope-intercept form and constant of proportionality. Those are part of our tools. Then we have circumference. Remember that circumference means the distance around the circle, the perimeter of the circle. So we have circumference is 2 times pi times radius, or we could use what? Circumference is equal to
mx plus b.
circumference is equal to pi times diameter. So you could use the radius or the diameter. How do we decide which one we should use? The one they give us. If they give us diameter, we use this. If they give us radius, we use this. All right, so something else the only thing we need to write on here is sometimes they're going to give us the circumference. They're going to give us the diameter. Remember, diameter is all the way across. They're going to give us the diameter, and they're going to tell us, how do you find pi? Well, you find pi by doing circumference divided by diameter. So write that down. That's going to be the first thing. You don't have to do whatever I do over here, but on your reference sheet, I want you to write this. Pi is equal to circumference divided by diameter. That gives us our 3.14. Anytime they give you circumference and they give you diameter and they want to know how do you find pi, it's circumference divided by pi. All right, then we're going to move on to area. So in area, there's triangle, there's rectangle, there's trapezoid, and there's circle. How do we like to write the area of a triangle? How did we learn to write it? Base times height divided by 2. Base times height divided by 2. We don't like to use this 1/2 base times height, even though it means the same thing. We prefer it as base times height divided by 2. Then they give us the area of the rectangle or parallelogram. Then they give us the area of a trapezoid. We learned the area of a trapezoid also, where it's base 1 plus base 2 times height divided by 2. So instead of saying 1/2, we like to use divided by 2. So I'm going to scratch out my 1/2 and just use it as divided by 2. So that's the second thing you're going to do. The third thing you're going to do on your reference chart. So first thing is pi is equal to circumference divided by diameter. Then we're going to change our area of a triangle to base times height divided by 2. Then we're going to change the area of a trapezoid to say divided by 2. Then finally under area, we have the circle, the area of a circle. Remember, area means how many squares are inside a shape. They want to know how many squares are inside the circle. And we did an investigation where we found out exactly the formula to finding how many squares are inside a circle. And we came up with the formula pi times radius squared, not times 2, pi times radius squared. What's a better way to say that? Pi times radius times radius. Pi times radius times radius. So we're going to rewrite it instead of pi r squared, because I don't want y'all thinking that it's times 2. We're going to do pi times radius times radius. So you're going to rewrite it like this. Finally, we have volume. Remember that volume is how many cubes are inside a 3D shape. So now we're talking about a rectangular prism or a triangular prism or a rectangular or square pyramid or a triangular pyramid. Both of them have big B. What does the capital B stand for?
Base.
Area of the base. So I want you to write in big letters, I want to cover both of them. I want you to write big B means area of the base. Area of the base. Big B means area of the base. So every time you see a capital B, remember that's not base. That means you have to find the area of the base first and then multiply it by the height. What about when it's a pyramid? What do we have to do?
Divided by 3.
Be big B. We still have to find the area of the base. We still have to multiply by the height, but then we have to divide it by 3. So we don't like to see it as 1/3. We like to see it divided by 3. So those are the 6 things that you need to do in order to start your reference sheet. Look at your reference sheet. These are the 6 things that we need to do. All right, so then we're going to do our toolbox. As soon as we finish the reference sheet, we're going to do a toolbox. So real quick, remember our toolbox. I'm going to break it up into 4 sections. It's going to be 4, 4, 1, and 3. So number 1, we're going to start with a constant of proportionality is y divided by x. Number 2 is what?
Y is equal to mx plus b.
Y is equal to mx plus b,
Mx is constant.
where m is our constant and b is our what?
1 time.
So it happens 1 time. You're going to have a lot of these. Number 3,
Formula.
and by formula, I mean you go to your formula chart, to your reference sheet, and you find the formula that you need, and that's going to be what you're going to use.
P equals number of times it happens.
And what does the P stand for?
Probability.
Probability is equal to
Hashtag can happen.
the possible outcomes or the number of times it can happen
Or total.
over the total number there are. I promise you there's going to be probability on here. All right, then we're going to draw our next line. And we're going to have numbers 5, 6, 7, and 8.
P over W.
Number 5
P over
is our
W.
percent model,
Part of row.
part over whole,
Equals percent.
equals 2% over 100. Remember, this is your is, this is your of. How do you find it? The missing part. Those of you that have calculators, you can use you could use cross products. Number 6.
Combine change over original.
What do we? This is our percent change model.
Combine change over original.
And how do you find amount of change?
By putting it over original.
Amount of change is found by subtracting your 2 numbers. So they're going to tell you yesterday he drank 50 ounces, today he drank 45, and they want to know the percent change. So you're going to do amount of change over original. That's how you're going to find the percent. Increase if it goes up, decrease if it goes down.
In parentheses.
Number 7, x and y coordinates. X and y coordinates. Our x goes across, our y goes up and down on your coordinate plane. Anytime you have to graph a table or something, this is what you're going to use.
Net worth.
Number 8, we're going to go to financial literacy. And remember that net worth
8 minus assets minus liabilities.
is equal to assets
Minus liabilities.
minus liabilities.
Mean.
All right, then we're going to have number 9.
Mean.
Number 9. Number 9 is going to take up our whole row. Or you can break it up into 4 parts, but it's all number 9. So we have mean.
Add and divide.
Mean means add and divide. Add and divide. That's how you find the mean. You add and divide. Add and divide. Median.
Middle.
Median is your middle. So you're going to scratch out, scratch out, scratch out, scratch out until you find the middle. Mode.
Most.
Mode is the most or the most popular, the one that comes out the most. In a dot plot, your mode is the one with the most dots. And then range.
Greatest to least.
is, how do you find, it's not greatest to least, it's greatest minus least. You subtract least from greatest. Greatest minus least. And we're going to do number 10.
The whiskers, box and whiskers.
Our box and whisker plot. Number 10 is going to be our box and whisker plot.
Your median, your Q1, your
I'm going to draw my line. And from here, I only need 10, 11, 12. So I can break this up into 3.
Q3, Q1.
So I have my line, my box,
Minimum.
my line, and my dots at the ends. My first dot stands for what? Minimum, which is the least. My furthest dot stands for what? Maximum, which is the most. The line inside the box
Median.
is your median, which is the middle.
Quartile 1 and quartile
And then the
3.
beginning of the box is quartile 1. Excel calls it lower quartile. And the end of the box is quartile 3, or the upper quartile. Upper quartile. Your IQR
Size of the box.
is the size of the box. You can find it by doing Q3 minus Q1. Or if you're comparing, all you have to do is look at the size of the box. And finally, number 12, anytime you are solving for X,
Isolate.
your goal is to isolate X. Isolate X. That is our toolbox for 7th grade. Memorize it.